America. As a whole, the country changed drastically from 1865 to 1900. From its reconstruction after the Civil War, the U.S. bounced back as a nation like never before. On a national scale, the country experienced an economic boom, with the rebuilding of railroads, the construction of new railroads, and the monopolization of the oil and steel industries. People like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller changed the country forever with their innovative and strategic ideas. Local companies emerged as industrial powerhouses, such as the Studebaker Brothers Manufacturing Company and the Oliver Child Plow Works. The city of South Bend ceased to rely on the St. Joseph River for most of their transportation and began to invest into the railroad industry. It was an important and unique time period in U.S. history, and it allowed the country to blossom into an industrial giant.
Well, it's Long John, Long John, he's long gone, long gone. Hey, Long John, he's long gone, he's long gone, Long John. Well, if I had listened, what the roses say, I could been at home, and the roses say,
After the Civil War, the U.S. went through another industrial revolution, and it all began with railroads. With the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869, the industry itself changed for the better. A vast system of trade and transportation was built solely on the railroad industry. Small railroads were turned into national corporations by business magnates such as Cornelius Vanderbilt and Jay Gould. Cornelius Vanderbilt was indeed an industrialist. In 1863, he became president of the New York and Harlem Railroad Company. It was a rundown railway system that didn't even go through Manhattan, but the Commodore had bigger plans in mind. In 1864, he gained control over the Hudson River Railroad. This railroad was parallel to the New York and Harlem Company, which he already had control over. Vanderbilt merged his two railway lines and renamed it the New York Central and Hudson River Railroad. With a strong command held in the railroad lines in New York, Cornelius Vanderbilt was ready to build an empire. Vanderbilt purchased the Lakeshore and Michigan Southern, which expanded his lines all the way out to Chicago. At this time, he renamed his railroad system the New York Central Railroad. He had control over a network of railroad lines, all a part of his railroad empire. This empire included the Grand Central Depot, which would later become Grand Central Station. At the time, it was the second largest railroad station. Another prominent figure in the railroad industry at the time was Jay Gould. Jay Gould, like Cornelius Vanderbilt, had heavily invested in New York railways. Gould first rose to fame when he became manager of the Rensselaer and Saratoga Railway in 1863. He later purchased the Rutland and Washington Railway, and in 1867 he presided over the Erie Railroad. After fierce competition with Cornelius Vanderbilt, Gould got involved into some scandalous activities. He was eventually forced to give up his ownership of the Erie Railroad. This did not faze Gould, however, because he had opportunity in the West to expand upon. He purchased the Union Pacific Railway in 1874. His empire grew, and soon he had the largest railroad empire in the nation, with nearly 16,000 miles of track. Gould went on to buy the Missouri Pacific Railroad, and later the Manhattan Elevated Railroad. Needless to say, Jay Gould died a very rich man.